Okay. Uh, all right. So we covered the attributes part, right? How we can manage the attributes. But okay, so now the attribute part is complete. Now, based on these attribute selections, like the user selections, how do we change the title, the price and the um, like the discount and everything? Okay, so to do that, we have the attributes selected, right? So now what we have to do is we have to go through our like variations, like the variations we have, and find out which variation has the color white and the size L, right? So if we go to our code again, our product again, so now our color is selected as blue, our size is selected as S. So now we have to go through each of the variations, like these variations, and inside our like each of our variations, we have to check which one matches the color black and the size is, sorry, the color blue and the size is, right? Or whatever the attribute we have selected. But there is a problem, right? The problem is we do not know which attribute is selected. We do not know the name of the attribute. We do not know what are the values of the attribute, right? And as you can see, besides the attributes, we have some other values, right? We have like stock, our image, price, discount, and discount type is default. So we have to take all of these into accounts too, right? Okay, so let's go back. Now, based on these attributes, right? So let's take a use effect and let's take the attributes as dependency. So whenever the attributes changes, we want to change the price and discount and everything. Okay. So let's check if the attribute is empty first. So let's say attributes dot length is greater than 0. That means we have some attributes selected. So if we have some attributes selected, now what we want to do is based on those attributes, we want to select that variation, right? And change all of our names and price and everything. So to do that, we can say const select variant. So to select variant, we have to go to the product dot variance, right? So product dot variations. Okay, product dot variations, and we have variations. We can say find, because we want to find the like one variation, one variant that matches those attributes. Okay. All right. So how do we do that? We'll say variation, 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 and then what we'll do is we want to return this variation, right? We want to return this variation if a certain condition is true. And what is that condition? The condition is the attributes of the selected attributes. That means whatever the attributes are selected by the user, we have to find that those attributes, like the variations of those attributes, match, right? So how can I do that? Let's try a the first let's try a different way. Then we'll use the like the every method, like array dot every method. So now we have each variation, right? So what we can do is const variations. So how do we have these variations? Okay, so we have these variations as size, colors, and we have an object, right? We have an object, okay, have some properties. So we can say selected variation, and then what we can do is uh, we can map over the attributes, right? So now we have to map the go over the attributes and find if it is true. So we can say attributes. Wait. Attributes. Okay, let's not select it. Yes, let's say selected variation attributes dot map. Now we have like each attribute, right? So inside each attribute, what we can do is, uh, okay, if attribute, okay, if variation attribute dot name is equals to attribute dot value, right? Okay, what is happening? Oh, it is equals to. Okay, if it equals to true, we can say return true, right? Else we can say return false. Now, if the selected variation is true, we can just return the attribute. Okay, sorry, return the not the attribute, the variation. Okay, now let's see if we got it correct. Selected variant. Now we want to console log the selected variant. Okay, let's check. I don't think it will work. Okay, let's check again. If it doesn't work, we'll use the every method, array.every method. Okay, let's select this one. So let's see what we have selected. We have the color black. Okay, the color black was selected correctly. Then if we select white, okay, the color white was selected correctly. Now let's see if we select another attribute if it works. Okay, now we have selected S. Let's see. Okay, it is white and the size is S. If we select L, okay, the size is the color is white and the size is L. Okay, that means our attribute is working, right? So we do not need to use the every method. Okay, now, okay, let's check blue, white. Let's select black and S. Let's see if it select correctly. Black, color black, size S. Let's select white and L. Let's see what happens. White and L. Okay, so the selection is working correctly, right? Okay, so let's go back and see what we are doing again. So first of all, with the attribute changes, whenever the attributes are these, so whenever the user selects an attribute, the state will change, and as it is a dependency, this code block will be triggered. And first we need to check if the attribute there is any attribute selected. So we are first checking the length. So if it is more than 0, that means at least one attribute is selected. So then what we can do is we can select the variant, right? So how can we do that? We have to go through, we have to use the find method. So you might have used the find method. It was a bit simpler than this, but we cannot do this as we are matching from an array. So uh, inside our find method, we have a variation. That means we have a single variation. So these variations, okay. So now we have this variation. Now we can actually go over our attributes like the name and the value. And now if now we can check that if the attributes like these attributes are present in this variation, like if color is variable present, and the selected value of color is actually the value of this color. I don't know if it is making any sense to you, but okay. So now the selected variation is we are going over the attributes dot map and we are getting each attribute. So now now we have got a single variation and we have got a single attribute. Okay, it is a single attribute. That means we have either color as we are mapping. So we have either color like the attribute color or the attribute size, or here can be any kind of attribute, not just color, size, RAM, ROM, anything, storage, anything. So now what we're using is we are using the object notation. Now what we can do is we are checking variations. That means attribute, not name. So in this case, let me show you as a string, right? So variation there will be color, and the attribute is like will be blue and white or whatever. So okay, so that is what we are essentially doing is, so we are checking that if the variation of color is the selected color, whatever the user has selected, then we are returning it as true. But if it doesn't match, we are returning it as false. That means it will go through each attribute, like map through each attribute and check if this attribute is present in the variation and that value matches actually the attribute's value. Okay. Now we do not want to use this method. We want to say attribute dot name, and here we want to say attribute dot value. Okay. All right.